few things in the product. I'm not going to go demo crazy here, but I'll show you a few things that you may not know things to do. The first thing I talked about again was that how do we avoid those constant clickbacks? How do we avoid people actually making a bad decision when they get to a results page and clicking through to a link? Well, there's a few things. Let's just do some live searches here. Let's go look at simple stuff, like weather, like I typed today. So weather, obviously, easy stuff here. One of the ways to reduce the bad clicks is not make folks click in the first place. So a query for weather, you reverse IP lookup. In this case, this obviously network is home run to San Jose. We actually go ahead and bring weather from San Jose. See, things like traffic, same kind of concept, right? Actually pulling in live traffic maps right there. How do we reduce bad clicks? Don't make it click in the first place. So really bringing answers further into the experience, bringing that information, bringing that knowledge further to the top of the experience is one of the things that we think can help folks. Now, other examples, let's take a look at West San Francisco. So obviously, again, same notion, pulling in rich maps, pulling in great listings. But one of the things that we found that people love are these things called captions beneath the results. Actually, people read captions. When we do these eye tracking studies, we actually watch folks how they process these pages or what they actually do to make the decision to click. And the captions are really one of the top drivers of decision about whether or not to click on a particular link. The problem is, the more we put in captions, the fewer results you get in the page, the more you have to scroll, and oh my gosh, it's the page. And so we asked, how do we actually augment the captions without taking up a lot of that real estate? And the answer was this thing called hover. So now, if I hover over any link, any result on the page, what I actually get is information extracted from that particular page that matches your query, and in many cases will pull out the popular links. So what are the links that people are going to once they click in this particular link? So try and make it easier for folks to say, okay, that is the right site I want to go to. That is the appropriate link I want to click on. We're also, of course, doing standard block and tackle stuff like deep links here, making it really simple for you to drill deeply into the site. But hover, we found, was, when we did the analysis post-launch, hover was actually one of the most used features, and one of the features that actually drove the highest satisfaction for us. So we think hover and that notion of getting people more information on the page to reduce those bad clicks is very beneficial for a lot of the stuff we're doing. The other thing people talk about a lot is, let's do Best Buy. So the other thing people talk about a lot is showing the definitive. Like, we know a third of queries are navigational in nature, meaning that people have a site in mind. And so when we see people doing these types of queries, we're able to actually articulate, to indicate what we call the best match. So what is the best match for your query? And this is not editorially driven, it's not some kind of paper placement. This is an algorithmically driven answer, which says people who do a search for Best Buy, 90+% of them tend to go to the Best Buy site directly. So how do we actually indicate that on the page? How do we make it clear to the official site? How do we provide deep links? How do we provide things like customer service numbers on there so you can call a person and ask, where the hell are you? Is the Zoom HD in stock? By the way, it's a great product. Go check it out. So there's Best Buy. Things say other things like UPS. Even a more extreme example here, when folks do a search for UPS, over 90+% of people actually end up on a UPS site, and 90+% of those people end up trying to track a package. So we said, how do we bring all that together? How do we actually make it very clear, very clean, and allow folks to both get to that site quickly, as well as track a package right from the search page? So really thinking about kind of what they're actually doing. What are you actually doing on the web? What are you trying to get done? How do you augment that in the experience? That's what a lot of the first piece of thing is all about, which is this notion of delivering these best results. The last thing I love too is just like status. I mean, it's simple. File assurance is great. I use it all the time personally. But you punch in a flight number, punch in an airplane, and again, looking at alternate data sources, looking at heterogeneous data sources across the web, and pulling that information right into the search page, something that we think is actually pretty valuable for consumers. That's the first area. That's the kind of the core block and tackle. How do we do a great job on core basic search, and how do we augment that in a way that lets people actually be more satisfied with the searches they do every single day? But the second one, which I think is interesting as well, if you go back to the home page here, let's just go look for, let's go visual. So here's something that we are playing with now, that we've launched last month at TechCrunch. But it's one of these things where we said, look, we know that humans, by nature, are very visual creatures. In fact, when we did a bunch of tests, we asked people to pick the right result. We gave them a query. I think it was cars or something. And we had 3 different kind of ways of displaying results. We had pure text with captions. We had like rich text with pictures. And then we had photos, actual pictures. And it turns out that that people are able to pick the right result about 28% faster using photos than text alone. So what's happening, of course, is when you see text, you're reading text, you're formulating pictures in your mind, you're understanding what that text is. So we said, how do we actually do something which lets folks browse visually a tremendous number of products, or a tremendous number of items, and let them refine these things using structured data. What that all means is that now, if I'm looking for an HDTV, pardon me, HDTV, people will actually say things like, show me the most popular thing, show me the newest, show me top medicine. So, all these different things that you can actually drill into. And keep in mind, I have 2,500 items here. I'm able to actually narrow very quickly to particular items. When I hover, I'm getting information about those particular things. What's slick now about this is, again, thinking about how people are trying to make decisions. If you look at something like this guy right here, and I drill into that, once I click that particular item, once I've kind of made the decision, once I've gone through the process of finding the thing that I think I might want, with one click, I can get to a rich search experience that actually has a number of features on it. Obviously, it has the product here, it has some ratings, it has the prices where you can buy it, cashback, that kind of thing. But what's interesting is that we've taken this very general notion of I want to buy a television. We've kind of helped the consumer through the process to figure out what it is he or she wants to buy through a number of different ways of looking at the data. And now we're going to let them actually do more research or consummate that decision, make that purchase using Bing. So looking at this kind of overall session, this overall process of how people are actually using the web and letting them walk through all the way to the end. And I'll show you something that I think is actually super cool. Came out of MS research. Again, thinking about this as a decision engine, when you're looking for a product, you're looking for a local business or a hotel or whatnot, of course you go out to all the sites, DP Review for cameras, the Yelp for local stuff, those types of places. But you end up reading tons and tons and tons of things to try to figure out exactly what it is that this place can offer you. What we've done with Bing, actually, is a thing called the opinion ranking. What it does is it goes across all the different sites, or many different sites across the web. It actually reads the reviews. It parses the reviews down to their component parts. So this sentence of this review is about ease of use, or about speed, whatever it might be. And then we apply what's called sentiment extraction on top. And that actually tells us whether or not that sentence or paragraph is positive or negative. And all that magic means to you, because it is frankly kind of magic, is that we're able to say, for this television, if the most important thing to you is, say, the remote, maybe this is actually a big deal for me, is the remote. I can do one click, and I can see both positive and negative comments about the remote. So what we're doing here, again, thinking about what Bing can do with pre-processing and thinking how we can actually kind of move the state of the art here, we're actually taking that process that you had to do as a consumer, which is to go across all these sites and read all the reviews and try to figure out what exactly that review is important to you. We're taking that and we're streamlining it down so you can focus on the most important thing to you about that product very simply. So we think this is actually one of those interesting ways that enables people to get stuff done more effectively. Again, thinking about this kind of this notion of moving from a pure information engine to more of a decision engine, and focusing on the intent, and focusing on the fact that you're looking for knowledge. We've done a lot of work with natural language and with semantic search, and